change how you're seen, charge what you're worth. That's what makes a personal brand profitable, because everything you do in business is dictated by your brand. Everything. It tells you who you align with. It tells you what you do, where you spend your time, all those things. And most importantly, what you charge for your time. Okay.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
Is your calendar crammed with non-productive meetings and non-profitable projects? We know the feeling, or we did know the feeling. We have officially dubbed 2023 as the year of saying no. For two very important reasons: productivity and profit. Can you think of better reasons than that? So today we're going to share the different ways that we have been saying no that have brought us more peace and more profit this last year, and even more to come in 2023.
Yep. First, let's address the real problem we're seeing people run into, especially as it applies to coaches, content creators, experts. It's two words. It's pandemic and podcast. All right. So we saw the chaos that was being created by these two things after our own calendars really looked like a box of crayons had exploded all over our Google Calendar. Right. And we began making changes early on in 2022 because we could see this coming. And we're going to share the changes that we made that really made a huge difference in our business.
Yep. And that's why we call it the year of saying no, not because we want to say no, but because we're working smarter, not harder. Right. So let's address. We talked about two things. Michael said pandemic and podcasts. Let's talk about the pandemic first. Overall, the pandemic showed us just how powerful and resilient we are as a nation. Entire industries shifted from working in an office to working from home, from face-to-face meetings to Zoom meetings. Well, that's the amazing part. Okay, the challenging part, we added a lot more Zoom calls and projects to our plate. And I mean a lot more. We were able to meet with more people, collaborate more, get more done. All of a sudden, there were summits and seminars abound, and it seemed like we were participating in every one of them.
Yeah. And once we realized that we could get more done and be in front of more people, we just kept adding and adding and adding to the calendar. And fortunately, that brought new and continued business. That's a good upside. But it also brought a lot of non-productive and non-profitable things. And we had to sit down and figure out what was the best way to handle this. And we want to teach that to y'all. Now, let's talk about something else that is added to the calendar: bookings, and especially for coaches, creators, and experts just like us. And that would be podcast appearances. Podcast appearances have really shot to the front of a lot of people's priority list, but there's some pitfalls we're going to talk to you about.
Yeah. So it gave us coaches and experts, more time to work on our podcasts and book more guests, which is great. And I have to say, we're so glad that we spent time doing our podcast. I couldn't say enough great things about it. It's not only brought us more exposure, but a lot more business. And the best part is the people we've met. We've met podcasters all over the globe.
Yeah, all over the world.
Israel, Colombia, Germany, England, you name it, right?
Canada.
Many other countries.
This was just like last week.
Yeah, exactly. And they're some of the greatest people we know. We've really been so blessed to have met them, and many of them have become our friends.
Yeah, but if we're being honest, we've been doing podcasts, 4 years now? We didn't get a lot of business out of podcasts, and we didn't make any money at podcasting early on. When we first started appearing on podcasts a few years ago, we appeared pretty much any of them that would have us. And this was long before there were any matching game dating platforms that
like
hook them up.
Podmatch.
Like our good friend Alex Sanfilippo invented Podmatch, and we love it. It's one of the greatest things ever. But we've been podcasting even before they had that, right? And when the invitations, after we started getting on the invitations just kept coming and coming and coming, and we didn't want to say no. So we just kept adding them to the calendar, right beside the seminars, summits, client meetings, and team meetings we were already having. And before we knew it, we didn't even know what day it was, or whether we were about to start our own podcast or being on somebody else's podcast. It got
crazy real quick.
It got a little bit crazy
real quick. The beginning of this year, of 2022, we really saw that was becoming a problem. So we remedied that this year. And so we started a brand new strategy of saying no to the ones that don't fit. And why? Because they literally didn't fit on the calendar anymore.
Yeah.
It was not possible. And that forced us to focus even more and only accept guests or appearances who were perfect for our mission, right? Which showed us even more, how important a focused mission really is.
Yep.
And so, here's what we do to tackle both of these issues. So hopefully this will help you guys.
Yeah, we focus on 3 things. So we're literally giving y'all a playbook on this, okay? Number 1, the programs we offer. That's the most important. We make sure that they are focused on one thing, okay? And a profitable personal brand is that thing. That's what we do. Only help people be more profitable and build their personal brand. That's it. All right. Yeah. And we build those personal profitable brands, period. That's it. Number 2, we focus on partners that we align with, and we consider several things when we start to want to work with somebody. Number 1, do they help the same people we help build profitable brands, right? It has to accentuate that. Number 2, do they offer something that our clients need next after we build a profitable personal brand? Number 3, are they knowledgeable about and experienced? So can they deliver that? Do they have that? We do our own vetting. And number 4, are they easy to work with? Because we're easy to work with. Our clients love working with us, and we don't want to bring in somebody else, even if they know what they're doing, that's not easy to work with. We say no to everything else, like everything else. And we say no very nicely. We're very nice people, but we're not mean about it. And we put them on short lists, and we stay in touch with them, and we watch their podcast grow, but we can't be everywhere, and neither can you. And unless you start doing these things we're talking about, you're going to wallow through about half of next year before you figure out what we figured out early on this year in 2022.
Yep. So Michael talked about programs we offer, making sure those are aligned with what we do, and all we do is build profitable personal brands.
That's it.
He mentioned the partners, taking on the right partners where we, collaborate with only certain people with aligned goals. Now, here's the third one, the appearances we accept. And this is where it got really crazy last year, right? Or in 2021. And we have been able to rein it in 2022. We have a solid guest profile that we stick to every day. So if a podcast guest doesn't fit that profile, we kindly and gently let them know. It is still not something we like to do, but we've come to
nobody
learn.
likes to say no.
No, of course. No, we've come to learn it's the only way you're going to be profitable doing this, right? So next is when it comes to the places where we appear on other podcasts, all we have to do is to continue to make sure our brand and mission is clear. Okay. That helps on both sides, actually, because if potential guests see who we are and exactly what we do, they'll know whether they're a good fit. And many of them will kind of rule themselves out, kind of, self-policing thing. On the other side, if a podcaster sees our message and our brand, they'll immediately know whether we can deliver what their audience wants and needs. So all of that really works together. And that's what we've been able to say no to, right?
Yep. And we say no to everything else. It became a principal rule. And we decided, and our staff, we all got together and we had a big team meeting about it. And everybody did agree, because that's what we teach a good, profitable personal brand is going to do for you, is you got to focus. And so we focused on these things to make sure that we carry our profitability to the next level, right? And our brand dictates all of that. It provides the guardrails for everything else that we do, where we spend our time, who we spend our time with, how we spend it, what we charge. All of those things are wrapped up and well-defined inside our brand.
Yeah. So if you haven't gotten the message yet, that's what makes a personal brand profitable, because everything you do in business is dictated by your brand. Everything. It tells you who you align with. It tells you what you do, where you spend your time, all those things Michael just mentioned. And most importantly, what you charge for your time. Okay. So here's a side note. If you are a coach or an expert in any industry and you are experiencing some of these things that we just talked about, we have great news for you. Michael and I just started a new group. It's called Profitable Brand Mastermind. And we're going to personally help you build a brand that changes how you're seen so you can charge what you're worth. Change how you're seen charge what you're worth. Okay. Check out brandfacemastermind.com if you want some more info on that. And you can jump on the phone with us and we'll chat about what that looks like for you and how it can transform your life like it has so many others, including mine, by the way.
Exactly.
Because all of the things that we're doing in this mastermind come from my own experiences. And that means failures after failure in the very beginning. And as we know, great things come from failure because you figure out a way around it.
That's exactly right. And we want to do the same thing for you guys. Listen, we know that prosperity favors the bold. So, we say be bold, folks, especially in this 2023 year coming up. We anticipate it to be actually a fantastically economically rich year. We do, especially for coaches and podcasters and speakers and those people that we can help do the same things that we've done for our own business. So check us out.
And on a
BrandFace
final,
Mastermind.
Thank you. On a final note, Merry Christmas and
Yeah.
Happy New Year. If we don't see you again before the holidays, we are actually going to spend some time in Virginia and early 2023. We'll share some of that with you guys. It's been a labor of love and a place that we've come to just enjoy as such a retreat. And it's where we've gotten a lot of our peace, and we'll be glad to share it with you guys coming early 2023. We'll show you some before and after and actually take you on a little tour of the place. So, but anyway, we hope that everybody has many blessings throughout the holidays and fantastic new year. We know it can be so. So thanks so much for all you guys have given to us this last year. We couldn't do what we do without you. And we appreciate you, all of our partners, all of our clients, and all of our teammates that hang with us every single day. Leslie, Febby, Sydney, Alice, CJ, Steph, Armand. Thank you for all you do for us. So, all right. Well, that's it, guys.
All right. Y'all have a good one, and we will see you next week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.